I think you just need to question yourself and those around you, like, yeah, where does it fit in? And is it actually enhancing your thinking? Like it should be, if you're using it at the starting point, you should use it as if you really just your brain just you cannot brain, your brain's not braining. You just I'm procrastinating, but I have a deadline. I just need to just get started.
Yeah.
And so it can just push through that procrastination for you and just get that starting point happening. But then don't just accept the first draft, then use that excitement, that little dopamine hit of, oh, look how amazing that is, to fuel your own creative and critical thinking and go, oh, okay, let's change that. Let's move that. I'm now ready to go. Let's go with this project.
Yeah.
If you find that you're just pressing publish or send instantly, then you've probably got an over-reliance thing.
Yeah.
And that's where you just need to be conscious and go, okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jodi Richardson, and this is, well, hello, anxiety. In a world that often moves too fast, we're here to pause, breathe, and understand anxiety together. Each episode will explore practical strategies, share honest conversations, and uncover the science behind anxiety and well-being, all while creating a space where it's okay to not be okay. Let's continue this journey together. Does artificial intelligence make you feel anxious? If you ever answered yes to that question, it is not just you. You are possibly among the majority. My guest today will probably help us get more of a feel for where people are sitting in terms of their level of comfort. But the thing about AI anxiety, which you may not be aware of, is it is actually defined in the scientific literature. And the definition is AI anxiety is feelings of apprehension or fear stemming from the accelerated development of AI technologies. And there are a lot of reasons why AI is making people feel anxious. Some are worried about losing their jobs, rightly so. It's certainly amplifying the work that some people could do in their roles, and other people's roles are evolving because of the way AI is changing their work. Some are concerned about where it's heading. Is it growing too fast? Is it going to be making decisions that we don't understand? Some are worried about being left behind. The others, it's the lack of trust, ethical concerns, and there are more to talk about. One of the mental health guidelines to help mitigate anxiety around artificial intelligence actually advocates for a comprehensive understanding of AI technologies and a human-centered approach to adopting them. And that is why I've so been looking forward to talking to Leanne Shelton. She's joining me today from New South Wales here in Australia. She's the founder and CEO of Human Edge AI. She's the author of AI Human Fusion and is so passionate about making sure that AI amplifies human experience and expertise, doesn't replace it. So, Leanne, thank you for the work that you're doing. I know that you have pivoted, really. You've evolved your work because of the introduction of AI, and now you're a global trainer and coach and speaker and author. Congratulations on your new book. And so, what are you seeing in your work? Because this is kind of your jam. This is where you spend your time working with people who are at the beginning of their AI journey through to others who are sort of further down the road. What are you seeing in terms of anxiety and how people are feeling about it?
Yeah, thanks, Jodi. I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, I was not always an AI person or even a techie person. I'm a living, breathing example of my role being made redundant potentially with AI.
Yeah.
Having a copywriting and a content marketing business, and AI is a tool that can write content for free, obviously if you're not paying. And that's where it all kind of started for me back in early 2023. I had some conversations with people going, I'm freaking out a bit about this. What am I going to do? And then I realized here that I have experience and expertise that could be brought to the AI world because prompts are all about words. They're just briefings and instructions. And the output is all words. And I'm a word person. And I figured surely there's a place for me because I know what quality output looks like. I know what I want to get from content, so I know what to put into a prompt. Surely there's something there. And that's where I just kind of took that outside the box thinking to just use my expertise to train people. Okay, can't beat them, join them. You're going to use AI anyway. let me guide you and show you what's possible. But you need to keep the human in focus at all times. And then it's kind of evolved from there into my human first approach with everything. And then obviously the book. And so what I just want to make for all those freaking out about being made redundant or replaced or their brains turned to mush, it's just a matter of rethinking your position and what could you bring to AI? How could it actually support you, not replace you? I really believe in amplifying us as humans, not replacing. But that's the trap that many of us are falling into because we're just told, go be productive, go use AI. And so when we see the instant results it gives us, we think it's just a matter of plugging in a basic prompt and it doing everything for us. But it actually shouldn't be like that. It should be more of a collaborative thing.
Yes, and I'll come back to asking you to define prompt because there might be some listeners who are like, well, hang on a second, I have been kind of putting my head in the sand. I don't want to know. I haven't sort of, dipped my toe in the water yet to mix my metaphors. But it's so natural, isn't it? When something new it's here, it's with us. People like me, I am utilising it, but as a tool for my work, certainly not a replacement. And I'm very, very conscious about the kind of ways that I'm using it in my business. And one example, I'll just give you an example for listeners. So if I am reading a journal article, I'll have a read through the abstract. I'll go and read through parts of the journal article to sort of look at what it is that I'm trying to understand about the science. And I always like to do that because that's how I can kind of hold on to that information and kind of like really retain is the word I'm looking for, retain that information. And then I'll give the journal article over to my ChatGPT. I'll say I'm loading up a journal article. Give me your 5 most important dot points from this research paper in relation to this question that I'm looking for information around. And so because it hallucinates as well, they sometimes make a lot of mistakes. My AI needed a break yesterday. I'm like, you need a break. You were making too many mistakes. And so we can't just hand everything over. It's really important, like you said, to be human-centered and collaborative. And so you would just probably completely, as I would, normalise fears and anxiety because that stems when it's the unknown, when you don't understand exactly how it works, what it can do, what it can't do, then that can really lead to a lot of anxiety, can't it?
Yeah, 100%. I do love that you said that you read the article first. I think a lot of people just jump onto, oh, that looks too long and boring. I'll just get ChatGPT to summarize it for me and then just write the article for me. And that's an example of handing it over. But because you've read through it, it's relevant and you're like, great, I know I want to use this. You don't have to overthink how you're going to use it, embed it into your article. Just bring out the top points. Great. And what that does is gives you a springboard for your own critical thinking. And they go, great, now I'm going to flesh this out. Whether you get some drafting from AI or you completely take over manually, either way, we're just going to keep, we're part of the process rather than just jumping in and go, just do this for me. And as soon as you just flip your thinking like that, it really is a mindset game, AI. And that's what I really want to focus on. Obviously, it comes into the whole AI anxiety thing. It's if you're just getting constant caught up in the hype and the overwhelm of possibilities, the tools that are constantly coming out, the updates, and you feel like you have to be on top of it all, that's just completely exhausting. And even I don't feed into that. And I'm in the AI space. I've consciously told myself, all the other AI experts out there and influencers are all jumping on this. I don't want to because my audience don't want to feed into that either. I don't want to be adding to the overwhelm and anxiety. I want to be calming them down, which is one of the reasons I wrote my book. Calm them down, see the forest through the trees and realize where AI fits into their world and where it should be just left at the door. Yes. And that's what I just want everyone to realize, that you don't even have to use AI for AI's sake. If you love writing articles from research and everything, do it. Don't feel like you have to use AI. Or if you love writing, look, my book was written by me. For me, I could not put out an AI written book about AI. It had to be written by me for an ethical point of view. Yes. And I love writing. I'm a writer. Yes. So just remember that and where it fits in and where you're just like, yep, okay, I don't have to do this right now with AI.
I think that It's about getting started, starting where you feel comfortable or finding an entry point, which we can talk about, but also recognizing that we are the ones that are in control. Like with ChatGPT, for example, which is something that's the model I use. I pay a monthly, I think it's $20 a month. That might be USD or AUD, I'm not sure. I pay for mine because I use because of the volume at which I'm using it for various different parts of my business. But you can use them for free. You can play around, and really we are limited in what we can do with it by the prompts that we use, which we'll come back to. But also, just if you want to start small, you could simply, like yesterday, I was trying to think of an expression, and I wrote to ChatGPT and said, I'm trying to say this is the expression I've come up with, but it doesn't quite feel right. What would you suggest? And then you take it or leave it. And so what I want to do, I think, I want to sort of step back. I want to think, can you explain for people who have heard, okay, I've heard all about ChatGPT. I'll use that as an example. It's not thinking, it's drawing. It's a large language model. It is drawing on information that is essentially programmed into it, or that it can access information. So first and foremost, it's not thinking like a person. It's accessing information and pulling it together for us. It sounds like a person if you use the app on your phone. I mean, it does talk to you, and people are becoming friends with their AI. They're developing parasocial relationships. We know that to be true. So perhaps if for listeners who are thinking, yep, I'm definitely in that boat. I'm feeling anxious about AI. It worries me. I'm a bit frightened about what it might do. Let's start by, if you can say, explain ChatGPT, and if you could please explain quality of the prompt matters for the quality of the output.
So you summed up very well of what ChatGPT is. I honestly don't go that much deeper when I explain it because it just confuses people. And I'm not a techie person, so I confuse myself when I attempt to. Yeah. Look, this is the way I explain ChatGPT. And I say to actually see it like a junior human assistant, like a human junior assistant, but doesn't think for yourself, for itself, like you said. When you flip your thinking like that, it changes how you prompt it in regards to giving instructions, because we're so used to the Google search bar, and the ChatGPT message bar looks very similar. And so many people just going, oh, yeah, give me this, give me that, give me that. And that's fine. Like the example you gave, I've done that occasionally too. Oh, what's a better word for this? And rather than going through Google and then hoping some decent result comes up.
Synonyms, the old synonyms in the Word doc.
Yeah, synonyms, 100%. Like as a writer, I do that all the time.
Yes.
But when you want to create quality projects and content, if you treat it like a human assistant, a junior though, wants to please you, but knows how to use the internet, it flips your thinking, because you don't need to memorize prompts like formulas that you have to put this, and in this order. My brain would not ever remember that. I would have post-it notes everywhere, and I'd probably create some sort of blindness and ignore it anyway. But if you go, okay, let's do an onboarding process with my human assistant, you wouldn't go straight away on their first day, can you work on this business strategy, this marketing plan, this bit of content, because it'd be garbage in, garbage out. And you come back going, what have you given me? Like, hey, it's day one on the job. I'm sorry.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know you. I don't know your business. I don't understand what you want.
I don't know you. I don't know you. That is the thing. And so you want to teach it to know you. Yeah. So you want it to know, if you are a business owner, your business, or if you're in a role, what your business is all about that you work in. And it needs to know as well the brand voice, whether that's your personal voice, if you're an entrepreneur, or that's the voice of the company, so it doesn't sound like everyone else. And you also want to also train on who your customers are, so that it's actually speaking to them. This is obviously a professional point of view, right? You don't have to worry about the last one if you are using it for personal stuff, or, but if you do that initial training with it, it understands where you're coming from. It understands your context. It's not just working with what it's been pre-trained with. And that's what the PT stands for in ChatGPT, pre-trained. I personally never use what it's been pre-trained with. I've given it all that information to set, my business, brand, voice, and customer. And here are different little resources and things that I've written, this, like pieces of content that I want to draw upon. So for me, it's more of a repurposing tool for my stuff. And then if I did do a bit like what you mentioned with the research pieces, it knows how I write my stuff So it would take that stuff and write in a way that I would.
Yeah.
And so it gives me a very first strong draft. But what I see so many people doing is saying, hey, write me an article on this. And the prompt is literally a one-liner. And they get so excited by what it gives them because, hey, it's like magic, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
and you
oh
know,
my gosh.
hours and hours and hours of work would go into putting that together by yourself.
In seconds.
Yeah.
Appearing like magic before your eyes. But is it you? Does it actually reflect your business? Does it reflect your voice? Does it reflect your customers and what their needs are? Probably not. And you have no idea where that content's come from either. So you need to stay in control by giving it the resources you want to use, whether it's your own or really, credible sources that you trust. Or you can ask it to find credible sources, just be specific and check out the links and confirm it hasn't hallucinated. But if you just work with it like an assistant, like a human junior assistant, it just changes how you use it because it's not just it's shouting demands. It's a whole, I have to think, what do I want and what do I not want?
Yes.
And work with it that way.
And how do I guide it to deliver without me having to then say, not this, that, not this, that, and the constant reprompting. And so I know with my ChatGPT, it knows about me. It understands me. It knows I have a podcast. It knows I'm a keynote speaker. It knows that I'm a mum, probably because if I, maybe asked it a personal question, but because I pay for it, I've also got little folders on the side, little projects, so I can click into the podcast project and I can say, whatever it is that I'm asking it. Incidentally, recently I needed to set up a new email address and I needed to create an alias for it. I needed to redirect the other email. I needed to change DNS records. I don't even know what DNS stands for. I said to ChatGPT, I've got to do all this. And it walked me through, and it probably took at least an hour or two because I had lots of things that I was doing and I probably, had a coffee or two in between. But it stepped me through and supported me and then showed me how to verify what I'd done was working. And there was one little hurdle I was at, Leanne. It was so funny, and this won't surprise you, but I said, I'm so frustrated because I've done all of this and it's not working. I said, Jodi, you're so close, it's not funny. And it gave me a laughing emoji. Persevere, hang in there, right, try this, try that. And ultimately, I was able to problem solve. But as I problem solved, I just copy the whole page in front of me and dump it into ChatGPT and say, this is what I'm seeing. You're directing me to this button. I can't see it. It's like, oh no, you're in the wrong page. But yeah, it's extraordinary. Even our toilet was making a funny noise and I asked it the other day, what do you think it could be? Could it be the float? This is what I'm thinking. And it said A, B, C, D, E. And we fixed it ourselves. So it's saving time. It's saving money. But I love that framework because if you think of it almost as your own personal assistant, and I think for $20 a month, it's an affordable option. But I know what some listeners will be thinking is like, hang on, if I tell it about me, is it going to tell other people about me? How is my information being stored? I'm anxious about my personal details or the questions that I'm asking being made public or accessible somehow. So how would you allay some of those anxieties around it?
Yeah, look, for any of that training stuff, I say it's all stuff that's public knowledge, like easily found on websites or, your brochures or whatever it is, right? So nothing that's sensitive information. If you really want, when you're asking a problem, you can remove names or remove any, specific things, and that's okay. And also you can do, like in ChatGPT, there's a temporary chat feature as well. So if you are asking it something that may be borderline sensitive and you don't want to accidentally remember it, even though it may say it won't, but it will, go to temporary chat because it literally will just keep it in that one little spot. And I've actually found you click out, you really can't get back in.
Yes.
It really is temporary.
Yeah.
So that could be an option if you do want to do something a little bit more personal. Some of my more personal stuff, I actually jump across to like Gemini on my phone and I ask that so that it's not diluting my ChatGPT.
Yes. What do you mean by diluting? I know what you mean, but so what would you say if someone's like, well, what does that mean that I'd be diluting it? How does that work?
Yeah, because I've trained mine so well to understand me and human edge, AI training. And so I want it to maintain that and not accidentally, I don't know, start talking about stuff as a parent instead of a business owner or something.
Yes.
It hasn't yet. Like it might just refer to, like I asked a fun prompt, if you were a human for a day, what would you do? And and it says something like, oh, I love to try dancing because you make it sound fun. Obviously, I mentioned dancing at some point because that's what I do. And or I mention my kids or something at one point, or you're a good you're a great mother, I can tell. And I'm like, okay, yeah, because I've mentioned my daughters.
Yes.
So it will remember those things, but you can always go to the memory bank and also clear that stuff if you really don't want it to hang around. But that memory is ultimately just for your system, because just remembering that we're so used to, like us non-techie people, using software off the shelf and just using it. This is the first time we have something we can customize ourselves without knowing coding.
Yes.
And that's just like power that many of us have no idea what to do with. But I think that's obviously added to a lot of the anxiety and overwhelm too, because this potential to go good and bad, it's all in my hands and I don't know what I'm doing. And that totally makes sense. It's just like really going, all right, I want to train on the basic things. And look, if you're a stay-at-home mum or whatever, don't have a job, still works the same way for like meal planning. You can tell it without saying names that this child is a picky eater, this child is celiac, this child has, special needs. Help me create a menu, and then it'll get to know, oh, okay, when you, for example, ask it to plan a holiday for you, it will remember that you have, a child on the spectrum and you have a child on, with special need, with food intolerances or something.
Yes.
And it'll actually include that in its planning and you won't have to reprompt it. So it's just, even from that point of view, it can know you and your family really well to help you plan your family life. And you don't have to keep reminding it over and over and over. So even that can be helpful.
Yeah, and it is, and like you say, you can de-identify it. You could get a document that is might have some details in it that you know what I've done before. If I've got a document that I want to de-identify, and I might be doing the long way round, but it's the way I know, is I will copy it, put it into Word or a Google Sheet, usually Word, because I know that's on my laptop. It's not in the cloud, so to speak, and then I'll just find and replace the sensitive information, whether it's my name or the name of someone else, and then I just literally put an X in, and then I might then just take that copy and paste it into ChatGPT. And the prompt I might use is, please read this document. Please highlight anything that I need to deliver on and the dates, anything to be mindful of. What are some of the, if it's a contract or something, what are some of the risks associated with this? And that means that, I hate to say it, but some of the things I might have previously run past my lawyer, especially because I've had a lot of experience with contracts and legal documents over the years I've been in business. There's not everything goes to the lawyer anymore like it used to, but I've got the experience within myself, my own personal knowledge bank. But the way I use ChatGPT helps to sort of give me that peace of mind that yes, what knowledge I'm applying to decision making around this is being backed up by a summary that ChatGPT might generate on my behalf, and that saves me money. It saves me money. It's peace of mind. So it's relieving anxiety. And it's like anything, isn't it? Like it's everything that's new can create a lot of fear. And like I've showed my mum how to use ChatGPT, but she was originally in the camp of, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. It's going to take over. It's not what she said, but some people do feel worried. And there was a report of two artificial AI, I don't know if they were robots or what they were, but they were speaking to one another, and eventually they created their own language and they basically locked out the people that had programmed them and set them up to talk to one another. And so the humans shut them down. So that, you can understand why people are a bit worried, but knowledge is power, isn't it? And keeping that human element, and also just like you've said, one of the things you've said is train the tool, don't let it train you. You are the boss. You're in charge. It is information. It's our responsibility to make sure it's accurate, to make good, well-informed decisions based on what it gives us, and not fall into the trap of letting it do things for us that we can't really trust it to do. In some cases, it will do it well, but we don't know when it might not be doing it well because it does make mistakes.
And yeah, actually, and even the example you just gave with the contracts, like, you know what you do and don't want to extract from that. Like, if I was given a contract, I wouldn't ask it the same stuff because I haven't had that much experience with contracts.
Yes.
So this is where I say your experience really comes into play, because you know how to ask it properly and what to critique it on, and all of that. So we really need to trust what we know. It's all otherwise been regurgitated information from wherever, and just keep yourself in the process, and just always it's very easy to see it like a godlike being, this all-knowing being that just has instant answers, and how good's that? And you can start to like mistrust yourself and just think, oh, that sounds better than anything I would have done. And then you question whether it knows more. And well, you still know what you know, and you're different from everyone. If you just pump out what AI gives you, and someone else in your field does the same thing, it's just the same content. You need to keep your own identity, and just remember that. That's the most important thing here, like keeping your own voice. So to add layers to any AI-generated content, for example, if it is going out in the world for marketing purposes or reports or whatever, like, you need to go and add your own like stats, or add your own little case studies or quotes, or whatever it is. Yeah. Just add more human layers to it. It's not just whatever it gave you. And mine is really, really good after 2.5 years of training, like getting my brand voice. But I still go back and go, okay, you've done too many short sentences here. That doesn't flow. I need to change that. I hate it when you say whether this or that, because to me, that's a big AI indicator. So I've told it to stop doing that now.
Yes.
And, I make sure it uses exact extracts from my book when I ask it to, rather than reword it. No, I like how I worded it there.
Yeah.
Please keep that. And you can get a bit frustrated. But yeah, it's just you know what you know. And if you just freak out or avoid it completely, either way, it's not healthy, because it's not going to go away. And actually, just also mention, like, once upon a time, humans freaked out about electricity. Once we freaked out about the internet.
Yes.
Once we freaked out about social media.
Yes.
And we found a way to evolve, and AI is just the next step in that.
Yeah.
It's just finding our place and just using it the right way.
Yeah, very much so. It is. And if we think about it as a tool, I'm using it every day, whether I'm just checking something or, another example doesn't come straight to mind, but I do often think about it as an assistant. It's been transformative because of the time savings. It's a big change for humanity. I mean, AI has been around for many decades, really, but it hasn't been at the accessible like it is now, and it's so easy to use. But I think what you're doing in your work and what you're saying is that that to get the most out of it, you've got to be really smart about, like you say, what you put into it, or garbage in is garbage out. When you're talking about a prompt, could you think of an example? Let's just say, for example, somebody listening is really struggling with, maybe one of their children is there's a particular behaviour that's causing a lot of frustration and discontent. And that could be even a teacher listening who's thinking, oh, yes, I've got one of those in my class, and the name and face comes straight to mind. Using that as an example, what would be kind of a way that you could prompt ChatGPT to draw on the right information and the right kind of expertise, I say in air quotes, to give the most helpful response?
Yeah, well, look, I can even talk to this because my youngest was diagnosed with ADHD end of last year, and it's been a bit of a journey managing her emotional dysregulation.
Yes.
So it really just comes down to, like, obviously don't put in a name or just call them X or whatever it is, and just think about it. If you were speaking to that human assistant, I like to get your help with X. She is how old, because that's a bit of context, and in this kind of environment, and these are the behaviors, and this is what the concerns are of me as a parent, or the parents, or me as the teacher, and then kind of outline them all. And really it's just as much background information as possible, so it has a thorough understanding of where you're coming from. And then obviously describing as well what the ideal outcome would be. We'd like the child to be settled in the classroom a little bit better, or if you're the parent, not fight with their siblings as much, or not have so much defiance, or whatever. How can we get through this? And so just really, talking about the problem, the hopeful outcome. And then you can also tap into things now, because it's getting better at doing research. Could you please provide 2 or 5 of the top books by Australian authors, or by experts in the field, as specific as you want, that could help me with this, or 5 podcasts, or, research papers, or whatever it is. And then you'll provide your links, and you might say recent, like research papers as well, if you go down that path, or podcasts, and then see what it gives you. And then you wade through it however you and your human brain would wade through it. Yeah. Me, myself, being ADHD, I'd probably go, oh, okay, now which of these books will be the best one to start with? Or can you give me a summary of the very first step I should take right now? And then just go from there. So it's all just you really thinking, what does it need from me to give the best possible result, just like a human research assistant or PA, or whatever. Like, just really get clear, and none of this has to be written in a certain way. You don't have to put the problem before the desired outcome. You can reverse it. It all just picks up on patterns on what you type, so you don't have to worry about specifics and how you actually do it, which is great, because I could not handle it if I had to always think about formulas.
Yes.
And so just real clarity is absolutely key. And then it's often a bit of that you realize how much you've assumed when it doesn't give you what you want. But that's fine. That's the same as if you worked with a human assistant. You go, oh, sorry, I didn't mention this. So you might say, oh, I forgot to mention they're homeschooled, or that we're thinking about homeschooling. Would that fit in here? Yes. Or you realize, oh, I didn't mention that they're having friendship issues. Does that play a part into this whole plan? And then you just build upon it. So that's where it can become a real collaboration partner, rather than just going, hey, how can I handle this disruptive kid?
Yes, that's it.
That will not give the answer you want.
And it wastes your time. You do quickly learn that if I don't give it enough, then it'll waste my time, because it'll come back with something that is irrelevant, or completely out of context, or inaccurate. And we can even prompt it to say, act, like I know in the past I've said, act as an experienced marketing assistant, and I'm planning A, B, and C. Tell me what might be really powerful in terms of outcome X, Y, and Z. And so I'm sort of telling it almost what kind of knowledge to draw on as well. And it's, like we used to go into Google, and a lot of people have reset their search engine as their ChatGPT, or you've got Claude, you've got Gemini, you've got Copilot, you've got lots of different options. But one thing to mention is also you can turn off the training mode, so that what you're contributing to ChatGPT doesn't sort of continue to train the model. And if you don't know how to do that, just ask ChatGPT to tell you how to do it, and it will guide you through it step by step.
Yeah, I've asked mine to help me fix the printer before, going, what? Why did these lights keep lighting up? And I don't know what I'm doing. And then I felt so proud of myself when I fixed the problem myself, like you mentioned. And then somehow it started working again, and I don't know what happened. But that's the thing as well. Like, if you don't know what to even ask it as well, say, okay, I have a difficult child. That's probably not the right wording, but we're struggling to help manage the emotional regulation of this child. I have no idea what information you need from me. What can I provide so you can help me solve this?
Yes,
and so even just asking it like that, it will then say, oh, great, what I need from you is blah 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 blah. And then it's basically you fill out a template, and then you fill out the template, and then away you go. It's like that initial prompt. So don't be afraid to use it that way as well. If you don't know how to prompt it, just say, where do I begin?
Yes.
And then it will tell you.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's like, tell me what you need to know. The last question I want to ask, and it's a really important one, is with respect to how it's affecting our own function in terms of our thinking, our brain connections, because I think you used the word earlier in the conversation about brains turning to mush, which I think is it's a really reasonable fear and anxiety, and the research is absolutely showing that when you are relying heavily on ChatGPT, that you are not firing the neural connections in the brain, which means that you're not strengthening your own cognitive capacity. We know that students in university, if they're given, there was one study, given the option to use ChatGPT to do their research and write their essay versus the person that actually did their research and wrote their essay using their own brain and research and so on, that the marks were much higher for the person that did it themselves. The retention of information's, really something. I'm conscious of it for me because it's easy to get a bit lazy. And the things that you might have thought long and hard about, you can just, palm off to ChatGPT to think about it for you. And I think that's a really big thing for us to be protecting ourselves against, isn't it? Because we don't want to end up dumbing ourselves down, as we may well do.
100%. And I'm literally about to publish an article on LinkedIn that I have written. For the whole of this year, I've got an AI to support me by regurgitating, repurposing my content with different angles and everything. But I had that realization recently that I started to go, I'll just ask ChatGPT. And my colleague said to me, do you really need to ask ChatGPT for that? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't really need to.
Yeah.
And so I occasionally find myself over-relying on it, which is not what I'm preaching to everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm a writer. That's it. Today I'm writing an article. I'm writing it.
Yes.
And it actually isn't taking me that long because I'm a writer.
Yes.
And I kind of have these things running through my brain.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. We really need to be conscious of it, right? Everyone, wherever you're at right now in ChatGPT journey, whether you've started or not, just pause and like go through what your thinking is. Like, are you just using ChatGPT as your default now? Or if you're not using it, are you freaking out and not even touching it, which is also just negative in itself because you're just going to, fall behind and feel that negativity towards other people who are using it.
Yeah.
I think you just need to question yourself and those around you. Like, where does it fit in? And is it actually enhancing your thinking? Like it should be, if you're using it at the starting point, you should use it as if you really just, your brain just, you cannot brain, your brain's not braining. You just, I'm procrastinating, but I have a deadline. I just need to just get started.
Yeah.
And so it can just push through that procrastination for you and just get that starting point happening. But then don't just accept the first draft, then use that excitement, that little dopamine hit of, oh, look how amazing that is, to fuel your own creative and critical thinking and go, oh, okay, let's change that. Let's move that. I'm now ready to go. Let's go with this project.
Yeah.
If you find that you're just pressing publish or send instantly, then you've probably got an over-reliance thing.
Yeah.
And that's where you just need to be conscious and go, okay, would meditation or having a break serve me better right now than pushing through? Am I burnt out? What other things could I do rather than just going to AI because I can't think?
Yeah.
And otherwise, if we just constantly go to AI whenever we're feeling tired and we're tired all the time, then I've had a lot of brain fog as I've been doing a lot of stuff with my book release. But I've recognized this week, I feel like I can breathe a bit. Let's go back. I've pushed through that. Now I want to bring the human back. Yeah. And so, that's really, really important. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy about AI replacing us. If you let it, it will.
Yeah.
If you are conscious of, I will only use it for this, never for this. Like, I don't get it to write my LinkedIn article, like posts.
Yes.
My articles, yes. My posts, they're all me.
Yeah.
But you need to work out your own little rules and guidelines and get firm on that. And then just catch yourself if you find yourself going, it'll be 5 seconds if I get ChatGPT to do it. Think of the task. If the waiting isn't very heavy, sure, go ahead. But if it really is something important and you're putting it out in the world and it's representing you, or you're putting it out to your team or whatever, then it really needs to come from you.
Yeah, it's such good advice. And people do notice because, like, when you're used to using AI, you can recognize it, especially with that M dash, that long dash, which it loves to put in, which makes for a beautiful flowing sentence, but is a sure sign that. I didn't even know where to find that on my keyboard if I was to use an M dash. I didn't even know. But yeah, like for example, LinkedIn comments. I'm seeing some LinkedIn comments coming through that are, in my mind, written by AI. And I copied one, put it in ChatGPT and said, "Is this AI?" And it said, most likely. But it's losing that human touch. It's like when I comment on someone's post on LinkedIn, I'm being Jodi. I'm trying to connect with what they've said, what they've shared, what their challenge is, what their excitement is, and just be a human person. Just be a person and just make a comment, not kind of try to sell my business.
Look, I don't get the point of like LinkedIn is meant to be a people-to-people platform.
Yeah.
Why do we have bots writing the posts and bots commenting? Like bots are talking to bots. Yes. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And this, I do bring this up in my book about the importance of human connection. Yeah. And I even mentioned, the C word, as in COVID, that we crave that human connection. Yeah. Like we were told not to hang out with humans and we're like, oh, I want it even more. And there's a few years later, AI came out and then we're just going, oh yeah, just get bots to handle everything, to automate everything, because how productive am I being? But you got to think about, for the sake of humanity, like, do we actually want bots to be in every part of the process? I've got that sixth sense of when people have used AI online, and it irks me to no end when I'm like, I want to hear from you, the human. And literally in my books, I've got all these little extracts, hear from the humans, from human contributors. Yeah. And sometimes I send out questions and then they just send me back AI written answers. And I can tell. Like, why? That defeats the whole point of hear from the humans section.
That's it. That's it.
And so that's, people just fall in that trap of going, oh, I'll just flick it off, get AI to do it. Yeah, done. Yeah. And just not thinking big picture about the impact of that.
Yeah. Our happiness comes from our relationships, our connections. And, you can form some, like I can just think of one incredible woman that I am often in her comments on her LinkedIn posts, and I've picked up the phone sometimes. She's been a guest on the podcast, Danielle Miller. And, I feel like a real sense of connection. And I get excited when she celebrates a high. And if there's something, it's just, yes, we can outsource everything that we write to ChatGPT, to AI. We absolutely can. There are lots of good reasons why we shouldn't. And the number one, well, there's more than one, I shouldn't prioritise, but one of the things is what in our heart and soul and in our mental health and our well-being, what makes us feel good about being alive and getting, to live each and every day are the other people in our lives. And I love the approach you're taking. You've got human in your book title. You've got human in your domain name for your website, your business name, and I love that you're taking this approach, because it's the approach that you've got is the one I think that is going to be enabling us to optimize our use of it without losing ourselves. And it's been such a delight to talk to you. And the book, honestly, such an amazing new book and a much needed one. Where can people find you online, and where can they find a copy of your brand new book?
Yeah, thanks, Jodi. It's been so great. You get me talking about AI and I just can't stop. Sometimes I come across as anti-AI, which is ironic, but it's just about the right usage.
I think it's a really healthy. I was just going to say, I think it's a really healthy viewpoint, because we're the driver. And we need to be in control, and so I think that your perspective is brilliant. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. That's my main space. So Leanne Shelton, and my website is humanedgeai.com. The book can be found. Thankfully it's published by Major Street Publishing, which, thanks to the team, it's out everywhere. Amazon, Booktopia, Dimmix, your local bookstore. If they don't have it, please ask for them to bring it in. Yes. It all helps. And it is a non-techie, human-first approach for business, for busy leaders. But there's so much that applies to those that even if you're a leader of your life and not in a business, there's still so much there. And it's all written by me. I write how I speak, so you'll hear my voice now that you've heard me in the pages. Yeah. It's not a techie guide. It's purely relatable stuff, including personal stories, and it's just very digestible. Like my 70-year-old dad can read it. You can do it too. So
I love it. I love that your dad is on board.
Please leave me a review on like Amazon or Goodreads or whatever once you've done it too.
It's really nice. I'm glad you said that, because I read books and sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I've got to write to the author. I've loved this book. And then I finish the book, I go to bed, go to sleep, and then I wake up the next day. I'm like, what next book am I going to read? So, yeah. And the same for the podcast, please. Oh my gosh, I've had some beautiful podcast reviews coming through. And we read all of them here at Positive Media. I read them all. Casey, my producer, reads them. MJ reads them. The team are reading through and they really, it's actually just a really nice personal kind of confirmation, isn't it, that you're doing something good for someone else. But it also helps people trust that it's a good resource for others. And so, yes, that's not related to this episode. But Leanne, thank you for joining me. Thanks again for the work that you're doing and for helping people kind of bridge that gap, whether you are using it for personal, in your home, in your business, and reach out to Leanne if you need some extra help. So, yeah, thanks again for joining me.
Thanks, Jodi. It's been great.
Thank you for sharing this time with me on Well, Hello, Anxiety. Remember, understanding anxiety is the first step to managing it. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Take things one moment at a time. Focus on what you can control and know that you are not alone on this journey. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with someone who might need to hear it too. I'm Dr. Jodi Richardson, and I'll meet you right back here next week.